Hey everybody, welcome back to the Five Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie AB. So today we're going to talk about MAGA being in full eruption right now because of the comments that Elon and Vivek said. Now, I'm Canadian, and I want you guys to understand that these people were against these sorts of things when they were running. Thank God Vivek did not get the nominee of the Republican because he would have turned around on America really quick. So the thing is that as a Canadian, I need to talk about this because for some reason there's a bunch of people on the right who are acting like leftists right now. And I think we need to talk about it because there's a lot more people banding together and class consciousness is hitting an all-time high. All right? Listen, I'm not against ethical immigration. If I was against ethical immigration, I would not. Most of us didn't have family members that were colonizers. We had family members that were immigrants and came here to have a better life. I am not against ethical immigration. What I am against is mass immigration. What I am against is companies getting supplemented and incentive to hire people who are immigrants over Canadians. It's creating a plethora of problems. I know people say, well, if Americans, this Tatum guy that I follow, Officer Tatum, okay? I follow him and he said, well, if you typically a business owner will find an American who is willing to work for $19. And I say, well, how about we start at 17 because you need to work your way up. And that's great. And I agree that people should move their way up. But what happens when to be able to survive in this economy, you need 19, not to work up to 19? What happens then? Okay? Because people are realizing more and more that this hard work isn't paying off and you're wondering why Americans are lazy. You send them to school, tell them nothing's their fault, tell them all their behavior is valid and all of this bullshit, and allow literal abuse to happen in the school in the name of mental illness. And then you wonder why Americans and Canadians don't have hard work ethic. You guys never drilled that into them. They are literally allowed to fail anything they want and continue on and not get helped. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's not like these kids are thriving in their classrooms with their friends, because I really need you guys to understand that this has been an ongoing thing for at least 10 years now. Okay, at least in the schools for 10 years, it has been violent, it has been abusive, and it's just allowed to happen in the name of DEI, truly in the name of mental illness. They say, hey, you don't know what they went through before school. Okay, I don't know what they went through before school, but they're still not allowed to come to school and perpetuate the abuse that they may be seeing at home. Okay, it's just not allowed. You're not allowed to grow up and abuse and kill people because you were abused when you were young. Okay, it's not okay. And giving a pass is not rehabilitating anything. Anyway, we're talking about immigration. Okay, and this is exactly what I have seen in the last 2 years happen at an alarming rate in Canada. Number one, you go to any store, fast food place, whatever, you're looking at people who genuinely do not speak a lick of English. How do you know they're not Canadian? Just because, they're not white? No, because they don't speak English. Because every immigrant prior of 2020 worked their asses off to assimilate and learn our language. So when I walk into a place and absolutely no one is speaking a lick of English or French, by the way, yes, I am confused. Just as confused as I go to fucking Quebec, and they don't have to know. There doesn't have to be any English signs in Quebec. You don't have to learn English in Quebec. We have to have French options for them, but they don't have to have English options for the people in Quebec. So it is very frustrating to go to Quebec. Okay, I go there once a month to go to the nearest giant Walmart near me, and it is unbelievably frustrating. Okay, but I also know a little bit of French, and I knowingly do that. That is something that I am mentally preparing myself for. Genuinely, I have all of these prompts ready to go for when I want to order, and when I'm up at the till. Anyways, but when you start to go into these places ordering food, clothing stores, retail of any type, and not even just, don't even get me started on that, but it is unbelievably frustrating to have such a language barrier everywhere you go in Canada, okay? Language barriers also are extremely dangerous sometimes. This summer, Indians were swimming in a lake that was contaminated because they obviously couldn't read the signs and they obviously had no idea what the lifeguards were saying. The United Nations, and you know what, I don't trust the United Nations, but when they come out saying that this program that Canada has where CEOs get supplemented money to hire foreign workers is leaving it open for a modern day hotbed of slavery, modern slavery, a hotbed of modern slavery. That's exactly, I'm pretty sure that's what they used. So can you have any idea what that is? Like, we have seen places where allegedly the foreign workers are sleeping outside in fucking trailers in the parking lots of these places. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's foreign workers that came into the new pizza place in town. And I'm pretty sure that the motel is shut down that it's attached to. And all of those people live in that motel and they're not from here. Okay. Our students, our disabled, our seniors, and anybody who in between who might be down on hard times and needs a job cannot find a job. What do people not understand of that? If no matter what intelligence you are still deserving of a service job. Okay, and who are you going to pick if you're a CEO? Are you going to take a chance on a teenager? Because obviously, like, a first job is it's, people need to be taught how to work and stuff. So are you going to take a chance on a Canadian, or are you going to take a chance on a foreigner while you're getting paid $10,000 to hire that foreigner? I'm pretty sure you're going to go with the foreigner. And that's exactly what we've seen happen. We Canadians are known for Tim Hortons, and I think the one in my town is the only place that actually has people who speak English at it. Okay. In the summer, we had this woman come up and say that she has seen people from India pooping on the beaches. And instead of saying, you know what, we're going to look into that, we're going to have someone who speaks the language to make sure that these people know that they're not supposed to do that. What did they do? They called her racist. Yeah, they called her racist, and they don't believe her. They don't believe what she went through or saw. Okay. Like, they called her a liar and it was a smear campaign. Have you ever had literally $4,000 stolen from you, and when you call the bank to call people, there's such a language barrier that you think that you're going to get your money back, but then someone calls you back in English and says, no, sorry, like, there was a language barrier there, like, he didn't know, blah, blah, blah. Do you understand what it's like to have $4,000 from you stolen from you, and then you call someone and that person does not even speak English? I bet you fucking don't. So now you want to know what it's like? It's literally one of the worst feelings in the fucking world. You're already pissed off. You want to know what it's like when you call because you've been ripped off by someone, and you call and you let the police know because you actually figured it all out because the email was connected to a Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And then you tell the police officer who stole $4,000 from you. They stole $4,000 from me in some sort of checking scam that I had no idea about. I literally told Scotiabank every single detail. They did not flag it. Why? Because they have such a high turnover rate that the person who helped me did not know about the scam. Great. And then they concluded that I was in on it, despite it literally being by somebody who was not from here. That's right, an immigrant stole $4,000 from me. Now, I'll tell you something else. One of my friends who's white also stole from me and was able to call the cops on me, okay? Because that's the Canada that we live in. If you do good, if you work hard, if you do what's right, you will get shit on. And if you're a fucking criminal, this is your time to be alive, baby. Okay, this is your time to shine in Canada, because you can do whatever the fuck you want to do here. And you don't even have to be from Canada. You won't even get in trouble. It's a nightmare. So besides being stolen from, we also had an incident this summer where we went to a hotel and we went to the pool. And basically this man who was from India, how do I know this? So because he was Indian, and didn't speak that well of English, came into the pool and started FaceTiming. How do I know this? Because I went back in after my kids felt uncomfortable. My husband took them back to the hotel. And I warned the Indian girl who was in the gym with her children, letting her children on the treadmill, by the way. They were like literally 4 years old, but I digress. Telling her not to send her children into the pool because there's a creepy man, where she told me that that was her husband FaceTiming. Why would you be FaceTiming in a pool, like a room where a pool is, where not only is it echoing, but there's naked or children in bathing suits around? Why would that be socially acceptable to do in Canada? It's not. And if it ever did happen, which it's never happened to me before, okay? It's never happened to me before. I've never had to leave a pool because I felt uncomfortable with someone's presence there. And I've gone to many hotel rooms with my kids, okay? It's never happened. So whatever, call it a coincidence, you know, and even if he wasn't taking photos of my children, why do you think it's acceptable? Like, that's not acceptable in Canada. You don't go into a hotel room where there's a bunch of children and whip out your phone. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable and it's not normal, and I shouldn't have to put up with it. I wouldn't put up with it if it was someone who was anyone else, but the thing is that his wife told me that he wasn't taking pictures, he was FaceTiming. Then you should know that the social norms in Canada are that you do not whip out your phone when you're near children at a pool. I shouldn't have to fucking say that, all right? You don't go away from your wife and kids, by the way, to get peace and quiet and go around other people with their wife and kids. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Anyways, not the point of this. It's just one of the many incidences. And then, by the way, later we went to Canada's Wonderland and I was butted by people who were Indian. I was, shoved to the side by people who were Indian. I said cut in line, right? Yeah, shoved. And then just so many things happened that day. And I've never, ever noticed any race. I swear to God, you guys, I've never noticed the behavior of so many people that it's made me think, I'm sorry, what's going on here? Because I know Indian people, okay? I know Indian people who have worked hard because they wanted to leave India because they knew they were about to make their lives way better by coming to Canada, and they left that all behind. And they're genuinely nice people, okay? I know some really, really nice Indians. I'm not even kidding you. They're some of my favorite people. One of my favorite persons is, his name is Manny, and he is the person that works at the gas station, and I love him, okay? He is so nice to me all the time. He's very polite, and you know, we talk about ice dipping and me being a homemaker and him working at the gas station. And I used to think that he might have been hitting on me, but he actually talks the exact same way to my husband. So he's just a really nice guy. And I want you guys to understand that it's something that's extremely noticeable, because if you're leaving a culture, I presume it's to have a better life. But what's happening is that they're bringing their culture over here, and it's complete. Like, you have the freedom to do whatever you want in Canada. I have no problem with that. But what happens when you don't have people assimilating into Canadian cultures, you're inevitably, or American cultures, or whatever it is, you're inevitably going to have a divide. And when you have no infrastructure planned, you invite all of these people, and you have this, like, I don't know, cocaine sense of dreams. Like, part of me thinks that, okay, so if Vivek and Elon have been so convinced that this is such a good idea, so does Trudeau then. Trudeau thinks this is a great idea. Someone, gave Trudeau, they were all probably on, drugs or something, and somebody gave this, bullet presentation to Trudeau, and he yeah, it's a great idea. Let's invite in millions of immigrants. This is going to be great. They're going to be building houses for us. It's practically going to build, the economy's going to build itself. That's what is going on here. All we're asking is for our countries to start investing in the people that they've been taxing into oblivion. There's been a lot of Canadians that have subsequently died since 2021. And all I can genuinely think of to end this video is when those companies come in, okay, and they have new management, okay, and the new management comes in and says, where can we trim the fat? and they say, well, you know, Jimmy over here, he's worked for our company for years, okay? Years. He has, and he's really good at his job, and he keeps everything going. This place wouldn't survive without him. But he's also accumulated 8 fucking weeks of vacation pay, and he's got full benefits, and, you know, he knows what he knows his rights, he knows his place back, you know, whatever. I think we should start to replace Jimmy. And then, I mean, I'm going to say it, in most cases, all of these companies who do shit like that end up, this is how this has happened, where companies fire their loyal workers, hire new people who have no incentive to work hard at these places because these places are unwilling to reward hard work. It's like this horrible system where you don't want to work hard because even what you're working towards is barely a livable wage. So why even bother? You know what I mean? Because what's the point? What's the point of working hard to never, ever, ever move up in this country? For all of these billionaire CEOs to just come in and take advantage of the tax laws and leave us poorer and poorer and poorer. Class consciousness is coming, my friends, and it has never been more apparent than it is now. Watching people turn on Elon, and I wouldn't even say turn on Elon. I would say watch Elon and the far right weirdos who are acting like leftists turn on the rest of the people who are just concerned about losing jobs, American jobs, is very interesting because people are really fucking sick of you guys. Okay, if you're on here and you're rich, watch what you say, because there will be people who listen to you and follow you, but the majority of us, we've been clocking this for a long time, and we've been listening to you guys because we thought you were authentic. Just like I said in the Brett Cooper video, we thought that you guys were authentic. We thought that you guys were pro-American. But what it seems to be is that you're pro doing whatever you need to do to get ahead, and that includes exploiting foreign workers at the expense of the American or Canadian. And now we live in a Canada where these Indian people came in and they made their own colleges to give diplomas to Indian people. And now that they've uncovered all of these things and these Indian people are finding out that their stuff is not valid and it doesn't, do anything for them, now they're mad at our government because our government let it happen. So not only do we have Canadian citizens protesting in the streets against our government, we have foreigners protesting in the streets against our government. So welcome to hell, if that's what Trump does. I think Trump should worry about his own country rather than taking on the borders of Canada. At first, I thought this was a joke, and I was like, genuinely, guys, come on, this is funny. And then he's talking about Greenland. I'm sorry. This sounds like globalism to me. Anyways, have a great Saturday night. This is probably my last video. I am probably starting you know what? I'm not even going to say it. Okay, go follow me on TikTok, which is the 5 Pines. And have a great night and have a great new year. And thank you for watching my videos. We're just getting started here, guys. Have a good one.